Ben Shlomo and Kedusha Levi. Okay, so we'll sing a little bit in honor of Rachel Imeinu and her Yahrzeit. Today, Yud Aleph Cheshvan, Yud Aleph from Cheshvan. A little bit, we'll do some teachings that connect to Reb Shlomo. And B'ezrat Hashem, hopefully we're going to make this slot a more permanent slot of every week, learning different teachings from Reb Shlomo, sometimes on the Parsha, sometimes on the Chagim. I have Thursday night on the Parsha. This will be more on the Chagim. Sing a little bit from Yom Perek Lamed Aleph, chapter 31. I call Rama Nishma Ayachem Vaka Evaka Baneh Vishavu Banim Vishavu Banim Vishavu Banim Vibola Vishavu Banim Vishavu Banim Vishavu Banim Vibola Vishavu Banim Vishavu Banim Vishavu Banim Vishavu Banim Vishavu Banim Vibola Vishavu Banim Vishavu Banim Vishavu Banim Vishavu Banim. So everyone knows there's a famous Ramban on Pasha Kitetze. It talks about what was the whole reason. What's really the behind all the idea of so much learning and so much Torah mitzvot? Why did Hashem give us so many Tayag mitzvot, 600 mitzvot? What message that Hashem wanted to produce beyond it all?
Because He loved us.
He loved us good, and therefore He wants to be mizaka with more schar and more opportunity. Each mitzvah opens up new gates and new opportunity. But there's another aspect of what it says in Tehillim, Imrat Hashem Shufa, to make us more sensitive, to make us more kind, to make us more compassionate, to make us more, we'll call it refined individuals. And each one of the mitzvahs that we do, and the Ramban says something very, it definitely is a poem. The Ramban says there is this aspect of, otherwise we'll manage. The Ramban says there's an aspect, why does God really care if I shake the animal from behind or from in front? Does God really care if on Shabbos I take the black jelly bean from the yellow jelly bean? Is there such a what? Is it something so what? Such a nafkamina, such a big difference. But somehow or other, all the mitzvot that we do, whether we understand the how or whether we don't understand the how, it's all.
We have the Hebrew. We had the English. We had the English one.
Yeah, no, for sure we had, because I know Reb Shlomo, he had a Hochbaum and we had swap, but if you have it in English, it's also good. But okay, anyway, we'll manage. We have this one. I have my own. For sure, I know this could be a move, but for sure we have. My father-in-law. So the Tzaf and Metapiyot, and I want a little bit build off of what Shlomo Katz spoke about the other night. And yeah, just that they should have also. If there's it should be 5/6. I know the Yeshiva has. And the Tzaf and Metapiyot, the whole Indian is to make us more refined. And Torah and mitzvot, okay, Torah and mitzvot is to make us better individuals, more refined individuals, more sensitive individuals. And the whole purpose of all the learning and all avodat Hashem is to what? Bring us to a state of refinement. And today we're going to learn a piece about Rachel Imeinu. And it's really a piece that, again, from all the beautiful attributes of Shlomo, I think he was a master on this and beyond sensitiveness. And it's really what makes Rachel stand out, what makes Rachel so special, what makes Rachel so divine and holy, her ability to be able to be a master of this attribute. So let's learn a little bit together. And what we could do inside, we'll do inside. What we could do outside, we'll do outside. And we're going to go to new sources from what I'm going to, that's from probably the previous year, no? Yeah, I'm going to hand out based on the medrash. And let's begin. Baruch Hashem, we have a great zchut this whole week is an honor. All the Torahs is honor of Hashem. At the same time, those who really exemplified, and Reb Shlomo exemplified this midah of Rachel Imeinu.
Is also Joseph this? We're going to trip to Shem tonight.
Right, but it's not connected per se, right? There is a trip to Shem, very good, tonight, all night, but I don't think it's connected. Now,
So what's his Yahrzeit?
his Yahrzeit is believed to be in Tammuz, in the month of Tammuz, Rosh Chodesh Tammuz.
Opened it up?
He opened up once a month. He opened it up on Erev Hoshana Rabbah. That was open all night, and now again comes out once a month. If you more or less, Hoshana Rabbah was I can't do the whole, but basically Hoshana Rabbah was like the 21st, 20th, 21st. But once a month they open it up. But it's really an honor of Rachel Imeinu, and Rachel was the one that just heard simple pshat.
It's really going to be all.
No, it sounds like you're driving in out there. You know, you're in your car and you park and you knock off a few times. You got to take.
By the bus, how long is the bus going to be?
You know what? It's very complicated. You have to get permission. They let them group at a time. But because I'm alive now, I don't want to sidetrack. Let's stay focused. Rachel Imeinu was the one who experienced so much emotional pain, so much brokenness, so much hardship, so much, we'll call it a soul of loneliness, till she was blessed to have a child. And remember, Rachel was married to Yaakov, and there, Yaakov has children from his other spouses. He has Leah, he has 6 kids from Leah eventually. With Tina, 7, and we have Bilhah and Zilpah. Bilhah and Zilpah are giving birth also to children, and yet God, Asher, Dan Naphtali from Bilhah and Zilpah, and yet Rachel doesn't have a kid. You can't even imagine how much loneliness that caused her, how much brokenness that caused her. And Rachel says the following words. She turns to Yaakov, she says, Havali banim, let me have children. And if I don't have kids, meit anochi, my life is like a living death. Let me have children, others, my life is like a living death. And Rachel is blessed with eventually a child named Yosef. But it's still not enough for Rachel Imeinu. She wants to have another child and another child. And she sees that like I said, she wants to have another child. And there, one day, after Yaakov finished the showdown with Lavan, the showdown with his twin brother Esav, they're traveling from Beitel to Hebron. And there on the main highway, she realizes she won't be privileged to be the mother of this. She turns to the midwife and says, I want you to please name this child Ben Oni, the son of my sorrow, the son of my affliction. The Aviv Karlo, Binyamin Yaakov changed the name to Binyamin. Yaakov sets up the Matzeva. This is the burial place of Rachel Imeinu Arayam till today. This idea of Rachel dying in order to give birth to life, Rachel giving up her life in order to bring life, is a very, very deep concept of forfeiting your own health, your own life, in order to bring life to another child. This goes back to Chava, and Chava had to be fixed to Sarah. We'll hopefully touch on it a little bit later. But Rachel Imeinu is there on the highway, a little bit separate from everyone else. And let's go back to the basic Bible story, just again, for those listening, on Facebook, Yeshivat Simchat Shlomo. Yaakov meets Rachel at the well. Vayishak Yaakov the Rachel. It's clear to him, this is my soulmate. And there's a great union that takes place between Yaakov and Rachel. Lavan says, not so easy. You want to marry my daughter? You got to work for it. You got to earn it. No free gifts here. And 7 years he works for her. It comes to the night of the wedding. We all know what's going on. And there Lavan's planning to switch the sisters. And Rachel is at that point aware of what's going to happen. And she quickly teaches Yaakov the special signs.
No way.
She first teaches Yaakov the special signs to detect the fraudulent pride. And in order that we should be able to reveal who's the one who's really what, who is Rachel, who's Leah. And I'm making it up. You have signs. When you're close to someone, you have to say words. You can say what? Secret signs between each other. You go like this with your hair. You go like that, or some other different motions, eye winks, motions with your hands. And then you understand the signs between one another. I hope that wasn't a sign. When share over. Anyway, but you have secret signs between one another. And the signs were given over. And therefore, the plan will be exposed. And we all remember that Rachel at the end regretted what she was going to do. She felt terrible what she was going to do. And she realized that what? My giving over these signs, having the secret signs will expose my sister and put my sister to shame. And as a result of that, it's going to end up what? Causing my sister a tremendous emotional scar, tremendous damage. And she ends up what? Teaching Leah all the signs. Now let's put that story in hope. The time of the Hochbaum Beit HaMikdash, the time of the destruction, in Sefer Yirmiyah, there was a great prophet Yirmiyah Navi, who was basically the prophet of doom, warning the Jewish people, you better change or else, you better change or else. It's a serious situation. God is in tremendous wrath against you. When the Hochbaum actually takes place, what happens? Yirmiyah is a little bit shaking his head and say, hey, at least what I said was, look, it's coming true. And those people didn't listen to me. And a little bit the sinners are getting what they deserve. And he's warning the Jewish people, you better change or else, you better change or else. And look, they're getting what Magia Lahem, his expression. They're getting what they actually what? Deserved. So now let's understand this. Yirmiyah Navi is warning the Jewish people. And God says, what type of prophet are you? What's a real leader supposed to be? A real leader is supposed to be someone that prays for his people, even if they're getting what they deserved. Moshe prayed at the Chet Egel. He couldn't have been more insulted. I'm gone for a few hours, and one day late, and you already forgot me, and you made a golden calf. It's the greatest personal insult to Moshe Ben. And yeah, what does he do? What does he do? He realizes that it's what? Too much of an insult, and he breaks the tablets. But he says, Master of the world, I refuse to be part of a book like this. And he prays, he gives God the ultimatum. You know the famous Torah Reb Shlomo would teach from the Ziddushava. The Arizal writes, Moshe is the reincarnated soul of Noach. L'cheni nami sifrecha, wipe me out from the book. May Noach, the waters of Noach. And when he says, Mecheni, he's fixing the waters. But Yirmiyah doesn't pray. And God says, if you're not going to pray, quickly go. To where? Go to Ma'arat Machpelah, go to my neighborhood. And daven in my neighborhood, daven by the Ma'arat Machpelah, that Hashem should abolish the decree. And wake up Avram, wake up Yitzchak, wake up Yaakov, and ask them to pray. And we all know there's a long medrash in the Gilat Eicha that Avram goes up to bat for the Jewish people. Look what I did for you, Hashem. Lech lecha, I spread you out throughout the world. I made you, no one knew you, no one knew about you. And I went to the marketplaces and everywhere else and I sang, En Kelohenu, En Kadonenu, En Kamalkenu, En Kamoshenu. There is no God like my God. There is no Savior like my Savior. And I spread Elokus, I spread godliness throughout the what? The entire world. And therefore Hashem, remember my merit. Look what I did for you. And remember, after I prayed 100 years to have a son, I finally had a son. I was willing to bring him up this week's parsha, sacrifice him for you. God says, Avram, Ma'li Didi Beveitu. Now you wake up. Where were you until now? I haven't heard from you way too long. You're on vacation. You can't now all of a sudden step up and get your way. Strike, you're out. And he puts Avram back to the bench. Yitzchak gets up there and says, God, what are you going to know what I did? 37 years old. Ayah Salala, where are you, Hashem? What's going on here? I put my neck on the line. And I was willing to die for you. And yet, at the same time, I put my neck on that line and I was willing to give my life for you. And yet, Hashem, how could you look the other way? How could you slaughter my children like this? Yaakov, and God says, Yitzchak, what you did was beyond, but it's not enough of merit. Yaakov gets up and he says the same thing. Master of the world, look how I took care of my kids. Look how I took care of my wives. Look how I took care of the Jewish family. How could you do this to my descendants? And Hashem says, Yaakov, your merits are great, and I really respect you a lot, but you can't be the one to abolish the decree. Now let's look at the sheet I gave you. If you want to look inside. And this is a very classic medrash. But I want to put into the context of Reb Shlomo, who I really felt gave his entire life to this idea, not putting someone else to shame, not covering up other people's shortcomings. And let's look a little bit about Rachel Imeinu. Be'oto sha'a, this is from the Medrash Rabbah Echarati. Be'oto sha'a, kafsa Rachel Imeinu. 4 lines from the top. I boxed it off a little bit. You should have a look a little. I gave you the wrong one. Be'oto sha'a. At that moment, kafsa Rachel Imeinu. Rachel jumps up from a grave. The Fnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu before Hashem. And she says, Ribona shel olam, master of the world. It's known before you, Sheyakov Avdecha Havani Abba Yetera. It's known before you, Yaakov Avinu, your servant, loved me a great and what? Abundant love. And he worked for me, for my father, for a total of how many years?
14.
Well, eventually it could. It turned out 14. But the initial contract was 7 years.
No, then he said it was changed.
Very good.
There were another 7.
You're right. But at the beginning, he's saying, Rachel is saying that started out with 7 years. We are going to reach the number 14 at the end of the Medrash. But now it starts as a 7-year commitment. And when the 7 years were up and it came time to what? My husband to marry me. My husband, my father, my father Lavan, planned to trick me and to replace me instead for my older sister Leah. And the matter was very, very hard for me. Because the matter was known to me. And it was known to me, this terrible idea, the plot. And I let my husband know. And I gave him over a sign. Sheyakir Beini Uven Achoti. That Yaakov should know the difference between me and my sister Leah. That I should sabotage my father's plan of switching the sisters. And then I started to have what? Regret. And I suppressed. Savalti here means to suppress. I suppressed my taiva. I suppressed my temptation. And I have compassion upon my sister that she shouldn't be put to shame. What's the word choref mean? We just started saying on Friday, choref comes in the lashon of cherpa, disgrace. What happens to the trees in the winter? They're barren, they're empty. We spoke about Rachel, her first son, Yosef, where you want to go to the cave tonight? Asaf elim et cherpati. God gathered away my cherpa, my disgrace. My barrenhood was a disgrace, and God removed my what? My shame from me. But that night, when Leah was under the chuppah, and that night, I didn't want my sister to walk out with that shame. And therefore, I gave over the signs, all the signs, Shemasati Lebali, that I taught Yaakov to distinguish between me and my sister. And I taught Leah how to make a sign with her hair, how to make a sign with her eyes. You knock like this, you clap twice. And I went and I taught my sister all those signs. That Yaakov would think it's really whom Rachel. Now this is, they don't teach in, this is the part Jerry lets know. This they don't teach in yeshiva or day school. This is a little bit the rated R part of the story. Now the hardest thing in the world is to watch Yaakov consummate the marriage. With whom?
How does she watch?
With Leah.
How does she watch?
She's under the bed.
Under the bed. Nechnasti tachat hamita. Shashochem v'machoti. Kesef shtar bia. There had to be that last state of the consummation of the marriage. Yaakov was talking with my sister. Well, pillow talk, and she was what? Leah was silent. And I responded instead Rachel says, I responded instead of my sister. My sister was in silence. And every time that my sister was supposed to respond or say something, I responded, that you can't distinguish between the voices. And I did this tremendous chesed with my sister. And I wasn't jealous of her. And I didn't put her out to shame. I didn't expose her in this shameful way. I'm a human being of flesh and blood, dust and earth. As I have all the human attributes, all the human nature of human emotions. I wasn't jealous of my Sarah, my Sarah is my competition there, and I didn't put it out to shame and to disgrace. And you, Master of the world, you are the living one, and you live forever. You're an infinite God with not human attributes. Neymar Kineta. Why are you so angry at the Jewish people? What are you so ticked off about? What are you so angry about? What are you so upset about? Why are you giving us this exile? Okay, we took other gods. That's as if you're taking another woman. And we were worshiping other gods. And there you caught us with other gods. So Hashem, look how I suppressed my emotions in order not to put my sister to shame. Look how I overlooked all my what? Human emotions, and I was able to cover for my sister, not to put her to shame. Hashem, what are you so upset about? We're worshiping idols, she'en b'mamish, they're not real things anyway. Vigliti banai. Now, for that, you're causing your people to have to leave Eretz Yisrael, to be killed by the sword. And the enemies are what? Doing with them what they see fit. And they have a free reign to kill the Jewish people. God's mercy was aroused. And he says, for you, Imeinu, I'm going to bring Am Yisrael back to the place. Because what you did to cover up your sister was so great. For you, I'm going to bring Am Yisrael back. And I know that's what it says. Kol ma'ashem, kol b'raman nishma, nehi b'chi tamarim, rachel mavaka abaneh, because crying for her children, me'ana li nachem. She is crying, the one who prayed so many tears to have children, the one who felt the disgrace of the choref, of being barren, refuses to be comforted and consoled for her children are no longer with her. Abaneh ki einenu. But Hashem says to Rachel Imeinu, Rachel, it's time to stop crying. It's time to wipe away those tears. It's time to put away your tears. There is reward for your pu'ula. What pu'ula did Rachel do? What great action did Rachel do? You covered up for your sister. You were willing to cover up for your sister. And because of what you did, the way we opened up, Am Yisrael will come back to their border. Am Yisrael will return, Ligvulam, back to their place. Rachel's greatness was the simple thing of not putting her sister to shame. I know Shlomo Katz touched upon it a little bit in his share yesterday. Today we're living in a world where it's the in thing, it's even the politically correct thing to do called shaming, to expose people's faults, their mistakes, to dig up. And there's all types. They could find halacha katerim. Why are you allowed to speak lashon hara about someone? And it's always crazy before the Yahrzeit of Reb Shlomo. There's the most beautiful articles and Torahs that get printed and concerts malav malka shabbatonim. But they're always those low people without any real character, without any real tochen, that they have this need to what? Spread dirt and lashon hara and rechilas and motzi shemra. People never met Reb Shlomo. 20 years later, and we all know the Chafetz Chaim. If you want to really be halachic, that's not one that they to speak to someone after they're already dead and they can't answer and they can't defend. There is no heter for this, and they have this need. And Reb Shlomo always taught, what's the first thing we do at a wedding? What's the first thing the chassan does at the wedding? The badekning. What's the badekning all about? I'll cover up for you. I'm covering the face of the bride. Shlomo had literally 50, 60 Torahs in it. The first thing is, I'm there to cover up for you. I'm there to cover up. What was the whole downfall of Adam and Chava? One of the Torahs of Shlomo was, not that they ate from the tree of knowledge. God knew again when they eat from forbidden fruit. Most people at one point in life, in some degree or other, in some level or shade of it, they eat from the forbidden fruit. But what was the mistake? Why did you not cover up? Why did you blame? Aisha, she's the one who did it. It's her fault. And Chava says the Nachash's fault. You have to cover up for each other. Husband and wife are always covering up. One of the applications in the Ketuvah is what? Kisutaichi. What does kisutaichi mean? Mizonaichi, food, right? Sheira ksuta v'ona. Husband is obligated to give to his wife sheira, his garments. Sheira, is a monetary amount of money to provide for her needs. Ksuta is garments, and she should dress well, look well, have before Yantif proper garments. And ona is the intimate time between husband and wife and the time of the month to be able to provide her with bodily pleasure. But at the same time, what is the Indian of Kisut? I'll cover up for you. I'll cover up for you. And it's just amazing today how this is like the in thing. People who mama looking, and I heard from her this, and it probably was worse than it. And mamish, it's a sickness. It's a sickness.
Me too.
It's the opposite of what? Of what Rachel Imeinu was all about. Of covering up the chasad. To cover up for my sister's shame. If Rachel or Shlomo would would have gone to the Agudas HaRabbanim and gone to the RCA, or gone to the chief rabbi and said, do I have to do this for my sister? What would have been the answer?
No.
100% not. You're not obligated to give up your soulmate. For sure you're not obligated to give up your soulmate. And in fact, Yaakov loves you. And it's probably even a little bit of a mitzvah. You could do it in a polite way. But listen, Leah will overcome it, right? She'll eventually get over what happened to her. She'll meet someone else, she'll move on, and she'll get the whole incident and that embarrassing night. But Rachel says absolutely not. Because even if she'll move on, there'll be a tzaleket. What does tzaleket mean? There'll be a scar, an open scar that she'll always live with that night. And that I refuse to do. I want to read to you the Levi Tzok's words, Kedushat Levi. And it's an amazing thing. And mamish, it's Reb Shlomo, lived this Torah in such a deep way. Remember, Yaakov had a little bit some issues to work out with Rachel. Why did you go back on our deal? We had a deal that you taught me the signs. Why did you backtrack at the end? And why did you then teach Leah all the signs? Now let's think just
what was the point? To make sure that that he knows her, and then she gave it away. So that's why.
Right. So it looks like you wasted my time. You pretended that you were with me.
Well, you fooled.
And it says that
this is a payback for Yaakov for being fooled, from fooling his father.
There is such a Torah. Excellent. There is a Torah like that. I'm going in a different direction, but excellent that you know that. And they say that there was a little bit a midah keneged midah with Yaakov, the way he acted at the time of the blessings. But the Ramban touches on it and others. I want to go in a different direction though. What would happen if Yaakov married Leah? There was no way Rachel would have known that once Yaakov marries Leah, what's going to eventually happen to me? Who am I going to have to marry?
She's going to marry Esau.
I'm going to have to marry Esau. The Eine Leah Rakot, the Bechora to the Bechor, the oldest girl to the oldest guy, the youngest to the youngest. Leah was crying all the time. Eine Leah Rakot, Leah was crying, I don't want to have to fall into what? The hands of Esau. And Rachel now lets Leah marry and covers up for her sister not to bring her to Bushel Cherpa. If anything, she knew Yaakov would be angry with her and a little bit disturbed by what she did, saying it mildly. So she would have to eventually marry whom?
Esau.
She would have to marry Esau. But now listen to this. She realized, even though I'm going to have to marry Esau, and at that moment, what would happen to me? I would end up losing my what? My Olam Haza and my Olam Haba. Because what type of Simcha could I have being married to an Esau? A serial killer. What type of Simcha would I have if I was married to what? If I was married to Esau, and Yet, what type of olam haba could I have? What type of haba would I have? How long could I hold out? Being a good, seminary student and being makbid in Allah, etc. And still Rachel says, I'm willing to give up my olam haza and my olam haba, just not to put my sister to shame. I'm willing to give up my this world and my next world. I'm willing to forfeit everything, just not to shame my sister. Afapi, I'm reading from the Holy Batishava, whose Yahrzeit was approximately 10, 12 days ago. Even though through this, Yaakov won't marry me. I'm going to be forced to go into the land of whom Esav. I lose my portion in the next world. Esav will marry me, God forbid. In order to do the will of the Creator. But do you understand this? I'm giving it all up. Reb Shlomo spoke endlessly about his own holy work in the late 60s and mamish, and sometimes but to save another soul, I'm willing to give up this world, I'm willing to give up my next world. I'm willing to forfeit everything. I'm willing to give up in order to bring someone, to save someone else's life spiritually, physically. I'm willing to give up everything. Rachel was willing to give up olam haza, olam haba, to save another person, to save a sister from shame, to save a sister from emotional scar. And the Shlomo taught this Torah, but he understood this Torah, the Torah of covering up. Shlomo always had the story of the Bach. I'm sure you remember it. Who's going to be my partner in the next world? But before we get to the Bach, who was Reb Shlomo's great-grandfather, I want to read you a little bit from the Gemara. So also doing Daf Yomi now, at the end of Sanhedrin, at the beginning of Sanhedrin, the Gemara has some interesting stories. Let me read you a little bit, a famous Gemara Bava Metzia. B'ma'arava b'ma'izahiri. In Eretz Yisrael, what were they most careful with? What was the meat they most careful with? So you'll say they only ate badats. They only ate this shchita. They only, the Peleg Yerushalmi was careful that they're so makbid not to recognize the government, they don't even go in to sign an exemption. What was Eretz Yisrael? I'm being cynical, of course. Yeah. What were they most? I have a son in Divdavan, who's Thursday nights, finished his 1 year and 4-month training. What were they most makbid in Eretz Yisrael? Not to put other people to shame. That was a special midah in Eretz Yisrael that they were most makbid in. It starts with Rachel Imeinu, who we saw did everything not to put her sister to shame, and she was willing to forfeit her this world and the next world. It's a famous Gemara, Daf Yirala from Masechet Sanhedrin. There's a certain Maggid Shir who was teaching, and someone gave off a berora. He said, "Who ate the garlic?" Now, some people say it means literally someone ate garlic. Someone passed there, caused a berora in the room. And basically what happened was, Rav Chia walked out from the shir. And after Rav Chia walked out from the class, all 100 students walked out also. And the whole shir was abolished. Why did they all walk out? Not to embarrass the one who actually had the berora, or ate the garlic, or passed there. There's different versions in the Gemara. But they all walked out not to put that on to shame. One tells another crazy story. And Rav Chia got angry at the Maggid Shir and said, there can't be something like this. And one time, the Gemara tells another story that a certain street girl walked into the Beit Midrash and says, one of you, he didn't go that far to say, but she said, one of you, Mekadesh, you did Kedushin with me last night. Kacheni Bevia. One of you was Mekadesh last night, and you had relations with me last night. She was a girl for hire, the Gemara says, and she wanted that person to be exposed, or to pay his wages, or whatever else it was. And she couldn't remember who it was. I guess she had a busy night, or whatever it was, a few clients, and she didn't know who it was. So Gemara says, Reb Meir, the great Reb Meir Balanes got up, and he says, it was me. I'll write you again right now. When all the students saw that Reb Meir was writing again, what did they all do? They all got up, not to embarrass a student that had actually done the act with that woman. Each one wrote a get, and there she was sent out. Do you understand the sensitivity of the Rabbanim covering for each other? The one who gave the berora, the one who did this particular avera. Real tzaddikim, real b'nei Torah cover for each other. They don't look to expose each other, to badmouth each other, to spread rumors and gossip and rechilas on each other. Real tzaddikim cover for each other. No, it's sick today that you tell someone that, by me, it's my Rebbe, my tzaddik. I know him. Why can't you be happy someone else is holy? Why can't you say there's another tzaddik in the world? Why does you have to always have to put down that great tzaddik? There's an Indian to what? Today, what's a real holy person? I'm happy that there's someone else that's also holy. Shlomo always would say a real holy person is, I could rejoice that fact that there is someone else that's also what? That's also kadosh, that's also holy.
Well, those rabbis said that they wished all of them could prophesy. When Yeshua,
you remember that with Eldad made that
right.
in the Machane. So, in fact, Yeshua was makbid, and he says, the prophesied without permission. You only gave Simcha to 70 and hear the prophecy. Moshe Rabbeinu says exactly your line. Halavai, I wish. All of Israel will be in the level of prophecy. I'm happy. I'm willing to step down if it means that what? You have just another unbelievable story. And Gemara tells, and I just want to focus on this Nakuda. I know I'm just only making one point tonight. This afternoon, excuse me, but I want to make this point very, very, very strong. And one of the things Reb Shlomo told the story always was of Yasla Kamsan Kadosh, how to give tzedakah in a way that to make the other person feel uneasy. So Gemara, we all know the famous statement of the Gemara, better for a person to throw himself into the fiery furnace and not to put his friend to what?
Shame.
Not to put his friend to shame. And sometimes you have to act in a level of Mesirat Nefesh and to die, literally, not to put your friend to what shame. So the Gemara, the Achronim have a thing, is this literal or is this a guzma? You know what a guzma is?
Exaggeration.
Right, you're just exaggerating. Is this, like a nice eitzah, or do you have to actually do it? The Gemara Tuvah tells a story of, and now where do we learn it out from? What's the most classic source? Of Yehuda and Tamar. That she was willing to go into the fire, not to expose Yehuda for that very that he did, right? She was willing to get herself burnt, not to expose Yehuda, that Yehuda was the one who was the father of this child. And she was willing to have herself burnt. So some people want to say, what's the classic way, literature way of saying, that was before Matan Torah, there was no tzivui in it. So maybe he did what he did. But, and you could try to push it off, but Tosfot says, let's learn from the story Ma'ukva. Ma'ukva was after Matan Torah, and the Gemara Tuvah Taf Samach Science tells the story. He always would give out every Friday little envelopes of tzedakah to poor people. And he tried to do it in a way that Ani wouldn't know who was receiving the money. One day the Ani says, I want to find out who's my benefactor, who's the one giving me all these what? Unbelievable gifts. Who's the one that's so pious? And he tried to spy on the person and to figure it out who it was. And when Ma'ukva was coming around, he somehow hid behind a certain point, and he was able to see it was Ma'ukva, the great Tana, Amora Ma'ukva. Ma'ukva realizes he's about to be exposed. He quickly runs away, him and his wife. Not to cause he doesn't want people to know he's the one doing it. And he runs into an oven, a burning oven. And him and his wife are there. At the end, he was saved, not because of his merit, because of his wife's merit. But you'll say, why do you have to do something so literal? Why do you run into an oven? But you know what? It wasn't just a midah of Chasidus. It wasn't just something Matan Torah. He took that Gemara literally. Better to throw yourself into what? An oven than to what? Than to put someone else to shame. And this was what? The level of Ma'ukva.
What a joke is it?
What
a joke is the exact opposite today. They go out of their way to put something to shame.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Mamish, people are going out of their way. I want to sing a little bit to digest, and that's a story I heard Reb Shlomo say right before he died about the Sdei Chemed, who was the chief rabbi of Hebron in 1904 to 1910. Let's sing a little bit together. I don't know why the tune is in my head right now, but obviously it's the reason we have to sing it. Yine la yano melo yishan, Yine la yano melo yishan, Shome Yisrael. Yine la yano melo yishan, Yine la yano melo yishan. Yine la yano mela yishan, Shomei Yisrael.
The first song we sang together 16 years ago when we met each other.
Hayine layanu melayishan, hine layanu melayishan, hine layanu melayishan, Hashem Yisrael. La 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 la. Ta la la ya 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 la ya ta la la. Bam 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 bam. Ta la la ya ya ta la. Ya ya ta da ya ta da la ya ta la 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 ta la la ya ta da la Listen to this amazing story. Maybe, Judy, you remember it. It wasn't a story Shlomo repeated. I think it was a one-shot story that he told over. And there was very, very, I think this part of it took place still in Chutz La'aretz when the Sdei Chemed, before he came to Eretz Yisrael. Eventually, the Sdei Chemed was in Tzfat for a while. There was all types of plagues and all types of earthquakes. He eventually came to Hebron, and there he writes his introduction to a sefer more or less as follows. He was being supported by the rich people of the city. And let's just make up, they had $1,000 to give out a month to charity. And the Sdei Chemed was taking a large percentage of what? A large percentage of that funding. And he was very, 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 very much responsible for, anyways, he was taking, and a lot of people said, listen, if we had millions of dollars, so we could afford to keep this Avrech sitting alone. But that's not our case, and we're very limited. So we should take away his stipend. And we could use it for better causes to support other good things that the community is involved in. It's an argument, but no one was budging, and the Sdei Chemed continued to get a stipend. One day, those who were against the Sdei Chemed receiving his money, they decided to hire, every Friday the Sdei Chemed would learn in the shul. He was all alone. And there was a young girl who cleaned the shul. Now, the Sdei Chemed is there by himself. So they said, listen, we're doing this, of course, the Shem Shamayim, because we want the money to be spent in a better, more constructive way. So, of course, we'll mitlabish ourselves with mitzvot, and of course, everything we're doing is only for sincerity, because we're such refined people ourselves. And there they tell this girl to make an accusation against the Sdei Chemed. They didn't behave properly. And she starts screaming. Sdei Chemed doesn't even look up, but before you know it, rumors are out that the Sdei Chemed didn't act properly with this young girl who was cleaning the synagogue. And right away, there's a whole convention. We have to cut off the funding of the Sdei Chemed because, after all, it's just not the way. One way or the other, the word was out, and the person who loved the Sdei Chemed the most knew the story can't be true about my Rabbi. It just doesn't fit. It just doesn't fit. And he calls the woman over and says, I promise I won't get angry with you, but who paid you off and how much did they pay you? I'll take it. You have to tell me really what happened. And she breaks down crying. And she says, listen, my husband is sick. He needs medicine. They offered me money more than I make for cleaning the shul. And I made this whole story up. So he says, listen, next Shabbos morning, you have to go up in front of the whole synagogue, and you have to what? You have to be able to let everyone know that the whole story was fabricated. And that Jew will be paid by certain opponents of the Sdei Chemed that made up the story. She says, listen, if this is what I have to do, I'll do it. They tell the Sdei Chemed, Rabbi, we took care of it, and we're cleaning up the whole mess for you. Here, open your heart in a deep way. The Sdei Chemed should have been very happy, no? His name is being cleaned. Sdei Chemed says, absolutely not. Absolutely not. If this woman was willing to do this for such a amount of money, she obviously needs the money so desperately, and she needs this job so desperately. If I expose her, if God wants to bring me back my honor, it can't be by what?
Hurting someone else.
By hurting someone else and putting her down. God will have another way to bring me back my honor and my kavod, without having to put that other person to shame. I'm willing to forgo. I'm willing to what? I'm willing to forgo my own what? God will find a different way to restore my kavod. God will find a different way. You know, the Sdei Chemed writes that that night, craziest thing happened. That night when he went to sleep, he was stuck in a lot of different halachic responsa. Sometimes when you're doing, you want to write something, you have many different ways how the tshuva could go. To be mata, to asa, you have proofs this way, that way. How even to write the tshuva, in which manner, in which direction. The Sdei Chemed said that that night he was stuck on making up 25 things, and somehow the God revealed to him that night. And he got this greatest revelation. And from not putting that person to shame, even though it was restoring his own honor, he said, guess what? He got all this unbelievable hashra, unbelievable great light. And as a result, he was able to become the great tzaddik and write this encyclopedia called the Sdei Chemed, just from that one night. Anyway, this is mamish the Torah v'achal Imeinu. Kedei lo lotzia lechepa, not to put my sister to any form of shame, not to put my sister to any form of embarrassment. This is the Torah v'achal Imeinu. Why it's Rachel's tears, but Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov couldn't do to stop the Churban. What they couldn't do to stop the evil decree that Hashem had made, Rachel was able to do. And Hashem says, Rachel, what you did, I just want to just a little bit add on. Today, for the first time since Bar Kokhba, there are 5 Jewish families living today in Kever Rachel. There are Jewish children in Beit Lechem Yehuda, right in the compound of Rachel Imeinu. Today, it's a new level of a prophecy. Like Kahani used to always say, there's 2 levels of coming back to Eretz Yisrael. It's the level I come back to the land because V'shavu me'eretz hayev, I'm running from me'eretz, from. The mem before the word means I'm running from the land of the enemy. Then there's another level. V'shavu banim levulam. The children are not running from, they're running to. And today, Baruch Hashem, we're running back to Kever Rachel. We're running back to Mama Rachel. We're running back. Those tears are bringing Yidden back to each other. And we should be able to run to Eretz Yisrael. Shouldn't be from anti-Semitism, persecution. Avram came to Eretz Yisrael. He didn't just come to Eretz Yisrael, because God said you have benefits and goodness, and I promise you children, I promise you land. But he came back because Avram Avinu wanted to what? He wanted Kashadi Be'elav Hashem. I'm running to the Gilui Shechina. I'm running to get Hashem Anira Elav. Not for all types of other benefits. I hear Israel has a good health plan, and I'm paying too much. Here, tuition is free in Eretz Yisrael, and I could save, my kids' tuition and camp here in Eretz Yisrael. But we should run to the only one. We should run to the Gilui Shechina. We should run to Hashem Anira Elav. And Hashem should mamish reveal to us, and we should be b'mazahir tfei. We should mamish be careful in this, not to put other people to shame. And Mezat Hashem, avla kaf sapia, all those who are causing so much agmas nefesh, God should close their mouths, or that evil should be shut down. We should be able to thank kavod Hashem lamecha. What our Rebbe Reb Shlomo is trying so much to do, to give kavod to other Yidden, to make everyone else look more beautiful, make everyone else shine more and more, and to bring out the good in every person, and to see the Nekuda Tova in every person, to be able to mamish, be able. Stom Piod Mastinenu Makatrigenu, and this Yahrzeit, the 23rd year, of Shlomo's Plimius, of Shlomo's light should shine further and further in the Torahs. And these are the Torahs of Mashiach. This is the Torah that mamish the generation needs. And that's why there's Menios and there's Ikuvim. And Bezrat Hashem, we'll see this year. And the Keva, everyone should try to come to the Keva, to be there, to tune in, to daven with us, Mincha at the Keva, 2 o'clock. We're gathering on Sunday, Tadzayin, Ram Cheshvan, and to come Sunday here in Simchat Shlomo, there'll be beautiful teachings and learnings throughout the day. And Be'ezrat Hashem, we'll be able to follow in Rachel Imeinu's footsteps and to see, V'nikolech mi bechi v'einayich mi dema, ki sacha lefulatech min Hashem. God should wipe away all the tears and all the brokenness, and He should mamish bring us, remove all the chepa of Am Yisrael. Yosef Hashem aleichem al b'neichem, remove all the shame, and mamish give kavod of chen, thank kavod Hashem ne'amecha, tila li'yecha v'tikva tova l'tashecha, u'fitchon peh lam yachem lach, v'chushem achashinan. Our lips are still whispering the tefillot of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. We'll finish with just davening, Mashiach ben Yosef, from Rachel Imeinu, Mashiach ben David, to bring the two Mashiachim together, l'mitashech tu v'lekodesh kuchim, to come back to the Holy Temple, the place that Mamish makes us new, the place where every Jew, v'zamelach shirin v'rachshin, to sing songs and whispers. Ay tov, hayu lekadesh, lekadesh kadeshin, hayata divei, divei yachadon, hayuchin, benafshi. V'zamrolach, hayshirin v'rachshin, b'Yerushalem karta shofraya, v'zamrolach, hayshirin v'rachshin, b'Yerushalem karta shofraya. Shalim is called the most beautiful city, because Yerushalayim makes every Jew look even more beautiful. When you didn't come to Eretz Yisrael looks more beautiful, but Yerushalayim makes all Jews look more beautiful. La 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 la, ta la 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 la, la la la, ta la 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 la, la la la, ta la 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 ya ya la la, ta la la ya la 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 ya la la ya, ti da da ya ya, ta la la ya ya. In la la ya ya, la la ya la, hey la 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 ya la 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 ya la la, la la ya la la ya la ya la 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 ya ya la la ya.
And just to add on to what we just discussed,